Your legs were kind of like mine. They were hairy.
Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you are sleeping. The most famous contestant, Big Ed Brown, got all the attention of the viewers because of his weird, silly, and diplomatic nature. But today, in this video, we all talk about the real reason why 90 Day Fiancé's Big Ed and Rosemarie broke up. Let's begin. Background story. The 90 Day Fiancé franchise series has had its share of sketchy significant others cast members since its premiere in 2014, which includes Big Ed Brown as well. In fact, I have learned as a viewer why most of the fans can't forgive him just because of the way he treated Rosemarie Vega. Do you even know? This 90 Day star, Big Ed, is also quite famous for his Hellmann's mayonnaise hair treatments, and yeah, of course, due to his childish, cringy behavior. Even he got all the fame and skyrocketed his popularity among those who had never watched him in the show. Because he was nothing but a disaster, as he always complained, disrespected Rosemarie, and even had put down her family, lied to her, and whatnot during their relationship on the show? Actually, it was quite clear from the very start, as he had made little to no effort to familiarize himself with his fiancé's culture, as Rosemarie, whom we also know as Rose, is from the Philippines. The two of them united at an airport after a long-awaited meeting, and guess what? Big Ed began speaking to her in Spanish, although she was able to understand English, and the fun part is her native language is Tagalog, rather than Spanish. I mean, learn, Big Ed. Learn! Not just that, he even considered her imperfect ability to comprehend the English language as a sign of low intelligence. I mean, what the F? And started talking to her as though she were a child, for instance.
How are you? Are you real?
Yeah,
Oh my God, you're so real. You're so beautiful. Oh my God.
To describe the vasectomy procedure that he had had, he uttered it's a snip-snip. In fact, there was a cringe and weird moment when Big Ed requested Rose to take an STD test. Yes, you have heard it right. After learning this, Rose didn't feel good because she felt like he had never trusted her.
For, I don't know if you understand, it's STD if you have.
Later, he apologized to her in her native tongue by using a translation app, and during their first encounter, this app was not in usage when he used words like pequeño and poquito to describe the significant difference in her height. By the way, the couple was at war with each other over Big Ed's sudden refusal to have children with Rosemarie on a recent episode of 90 Day Fiancé.
Having more kids is not something that I want.
Before the 90 days, so the 23-year-old woman pointed out all the facts about how she had made it all clear already before Ed traveled all the way to the Philippines to be with her, what kind of life she wanted, and that her dream was to have more children. She even shared that he had also lied about both in his own plans and even about his plan to get a vasectomy. To your knowledge, let me add that Rosemarie and Big Ed both have children with their previous partners, but Ed, who has a daughter of 29, didn't seem interested in having more kids.
I've raised a daughter, she's 29, and it was a wonderful experience.
He was supposed to disclose this early, wasn't he? Then, Rosemarie proceeded to list down everything that Big Ed had ever done wrong with her and admitted that she is disappointed because he always embarrassed her. As I have mentioned before about the vasectomy process he had, well, with regard to that, Big Ed had told Rose he would have kids with her and she was 23 years old at the time with her whole life ahead. By the way, being a single mom, Rose's dream was to have 2 kids. But to this, Big Ed came up with a very weak explanation, what he had been to describe hiding the fact that he would have the procedure and said, "I didn't know how to tell you." Well, unfortunately, their relationship ultimately ended due to lack of trust, or Big Ed's big list of complaints, which included Rose's alleged bad breath.
Just your breath is not, pretty.
Along with her leg hair and poor living condition. Wow, what a valid reason to call out the relationship.
Your legs were kind of like mine. They were hairy.
What?
After that, fans came up front and started supporting Rose and insisted that she deserved better man than Big Ed. When she finally confronted him and said, "I think you don't love me," and told him, "I'm done." Wow, you go, girl. I appreciate your nerves. And finally had enough and stormed off to pack her things without telling him goodbye. Not just that, She even told the cameras that now she regrets leaving her son to be with Ed in the first place. Later, she embarked on a dramatic transformation which literally dazzled her fans. Not just that, she has been running a YouTube channel of her own since then that has almost 700,000 subscribers who are also known as Rosemaries. Now she owns a new house, a budding modeling career, and a farm in the Philippines. Now, her fans can quickly point out how much happier she seems since her appearance on 90 Day Fiancé. Anyhow, on the other hand, Big Ed is in therapy and has found a new girlfriend named Liz. Cringe moments of Big Ed while dating Rosemarie. Well, I'm adding some weird moments of Big Ed that will let you know why Rosemarie finally had officially called time on their relationship. He lied about his height. We have seen Big Ed talking a lot about the importance of honesty in a relationship on the show, especially when he wanted to know regarding Rose's past. Although, he was the one who lied in the relationship in the first place. That was one of the things he did and told her about his height, that he's 5'2", when in reality, nothing was even close to it, because his height measures up to 4'11". I mean, what a hypocrite. When the couple arrived at the airport to meet each other, Rose got stunned when she looked at him for the first time, because he was significantly shorter than her. Even you can clearly see a burden of disappointment on her face. She even mentioned in front of the crew that she wasn't expecting that from Big Ed, as he lied in a politely awkward moment. But still, she did not make a fuss about it. According to him, he thought if he told her that he has the same height, maybe he would have a chance. But if you search him on Instagram, throughout his posts, you can still find the comments of fans of the show asking him why he lied to Rose about how tall he is. Asked Rose to take an STD test. Well, nowadays, it's become a very normal thing to ask your partners to take an STD test just to make sure that your last relationship didn't get you a disease. But if you singled out your partner and refused to take an STD test yourself, then you are nothing less than an idiot. And that's what Ed did to Rose. He asked her to get an STD test and refused to take one. Like, someone with no dignity would do that to his partner by not doing what you expect from your partner to do. In fact, the real reason to feel disgusted by him is that he asked her this awful favor on the very first date they both went out. He asked this before having a dessert, and her expressions could tell you how embarrassed she was feeling at that moment. I feel sad for her. Like, he refused to take a test because he's in the Philippines and he will take one after getting back to the States, but she has to do that no matter what? What a hypocrite you are, Ed.
You test me?
The test for, I don't know if you understand it, it's STD. If
Calling her a gold digger. You start asking people around yourself why they are even with you and what was the special thing that made them stay with you when you were having insecurities. That's because what was happening with Ed, as he was very much concerned about his looks. Because of course, he knew that Rose is younger and prettier than him, as he is quite older than her. So he kept asking her that question, as he had a thought that Rose is with him for his money. In fact, at the marketplace, they even fought when Big Ed questioned her intentions. Even he claimed that she's scamming him for money. Well, if you ask me then, I would really want to suggest to Big Ed that he should know that this is the worst, mean, and last thing you could say to your girlfriend. But if he wants to stay with Rose, then he should keep such silly things off the table.
Keep the change.
no,
Yeah.
no, keep the change.
It's a 10 pesos.
Ed's weird reaction to Rose's breath. Nobody really likes a bad breath, but if your love of your life or your partner has a bad breath, it can be a big turnoff for real. But never start pointing it out at your partner's face if they have. It's decently better to give them a hint rather than making them feel uncomfortable. But that's what Ed did. I mean, what else can we expect? He went straight to Rose and told her that she had a bad breath. Even the most strange and awful thing he did, he gave her an oral hygiene packet of mouthwash, a brush, and toothpaste. Before he was about to give her that packet, Rose became quite excited about it, as she thought that it must be something nicer to her girl. But what did he actually get for him? What a major embarrassment. Then Rose told him with a disgusting face, as it was clear from her facial expression that she didn't like this act of Ed, that she has an ulcer, that's why her breath isn't so good.
Just your breath is not pretty.
That's all for today, guys, with the real reason why 90 Day Fiancé's Big Ed and Rosemarie broke up. Thanks for watching, and let us know by commenting down below which moment or reason you found the valid one to end this pathetic relationship.